So, before we start, just a quick show of hands. Does anyone in this room, anyone at all, like great beer? Anyone? I see one, two. We all love great beer. And you're in luck, because my colleagues back there are starting to pass out samples of Wet Sooner IPA. It's a session IPA, much as I'd like to ply you with a heavy alcohol beer right now and influence your voting a little bit. We're going to give you a session IPA. This was produced by our device right here, this Pico. And while you're drinking it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we created this thing. So, I was born fashion challenged, and that meant I pretty much was stuck in either journalism or software as a career. And I had to work for other fashion challenged people too. But I got to build a lot of great devices and gadgets over the career. And of course I live in Seattle, so that means I love great craft coffee and I love great craft beer. And as everyone from Seattle will tell you, if you're from Seattle, you're lucky because we're the only people in the entire United States that produce craft beer. Except for every other city in the country and every nation. And in fact, that's one of the great things about craft beer. You can go on what I call beercations. My wife doesn't call them those, but whenever we travel around, I like to visit craft breweries. And pretty much everywhere you go now, every state, every country in the world, you can get great craft beer at great craft breweries. The problem that I had was as soon as you get home, you can't get that great fresh craft beer. Best case is you maybe can get some stale beer in cans and bottles from those breweries you visited. So, like any good engineer, I thought, I've got a solution. I'll just make my own. I can look up recipes online. I can take up home brewing. And like Alfred said, how hard can it be? How messy can it be? Well, it's kind of ugly after you ruin your kitchen floor and a few other things that my wife would be happy to tell you about. You get moved to the garage, and after you produce your first bad batch, 5 gallons of it, then you lose all your friends too. So I had this problem, and I had this idea, which was, why not make a gadget that can produce great craft beer, produce it reliably and repeatably so that anytime you want to reproduce a beer, you can. Anytime you want to produce some great recipe that you found from a brewery around the world, you can. So I quit my day job and started the company called PicoBrew. That was in 2010. And after about 3 years and a couple dozen prototypes and actually several thousand gallons of sample beer that we had to taste. It's hard work, but somebody had to do it. And I like to think that we did it for you. We were able to produce the world's first fully automatic, all-grain craft brew appliance. So this little robot we introduced in 2013. The marketing people don't like it when I say this, but it eats grains and hops, and it poops out great craft beer. They're never going to let me present again after this. The job wasn't done, though. The big dream was really to make craft beer a first-class citizen in your home and allow everyone, even if you've never brewed, even if you've never wanted to brew great craft beer the very first time. So we knew we had to make the machine smaller, more cost-effective. Zymatic was $2,000. And just bulletproof. So we spent another couple of years engineering the solution that we launched on Kickstarter last year and actually just started delivering the PicoBrew Pico, which is this machine right up here. We're happy to be completely fulfilled all our Kickstarter orders. We are actually working with a number of craft breweries like Ornata. In fact, over 150 craft breweries worldwide now are actually part of our program producing these Pico packs, which are grains and hops that go in this machine. There's an RFID tag on the cartridge, slide in the machine, and you can produce their great craft beers the way the craft brew master wanted you to taste them, or customize them to taste. So all of that was a bunch of awesome innovation, but what I really wanted to show you was the thing we introduced at CES just this year, just a couple days ago. And that is the new capability we're calling freestyle. So freestyle, if we can cut over to the laptop here. There we go. Freestyle allows anyone to create their own totally custom craft beer. So you can produce great craft beer from all these great craft breweries around the world. And now, if you have a mouse and a laptop, and even if you don't have a mouse and a laptop, if you're modern and you have a tablet, you can start with a known good recipe, like any of these template recipes. And I'm going to produce a beer for you, David. So this is going to be a pale ale. And so very quickly, we can drag and drop grains and hops and start making our own unique craft beers. Drag and drop these guys. And at the end of the day, I can order these as custom Pico packs. I hit this button, buy now.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
It's on staff too. In a couple days, the UPS or the US postman comes up and he's got your Pico pack, and here he is right now, Dave. Is your request to produce Pico pack?
I got a costume for this gag.
And if you open it up, we'll see what's inside. Well, better yet, beer.
So this is my own custom Pico pack.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, this is what it looks like.
Yep.
A cardboard box.
Take the cardboard box off. All right.
Oh, so this is like a little coffee filter pack thing.
That's right.
I put that in there.
Look at this side.
Oh my God. They put my face on the box.
What everyone wants on their beer pack, right?
You are a nerd, sir. Wow, that is really thoughtful of you. I'll make sure TSA loves that.
Pop it in. Order that beer.
That's amazing. So I always thought that beer is something that takes time to steep and ferment and.
Well, it's not quite as instant as Alfred was describing it unless you drink a lot of beer.
So if I put the Pogue IPA into this and hit the button, how long?
You've got about 2 hours of brew time, and then you've got to ferment. So we've kind of come up with this whole modernist brewing, which is kind of speeding up this 2,000-year-old process. So it's down to 2 hours brew time, and then you still got 5 to 7 days of fermentation time.
Wow! So if you're thirsty, it's not like...
Not quite instant, but you can pipeline production.
What does that mean?
That means you can pop this in, go for 2 hours. You can walk away, by the way, and monitor the progress from any web-connected device. So you don't have to sit there and watch the machine. And when you're done, start up another batch and start up another batch. So you can fill your refrigerator shelf full of these bilingual mini kegs of beer.
I see. So the beer makers like Coors and stuff would make us believe that the water is very important.
Well, their beers are mostly water, but yeah.
There's one company who won't be buying this one. So, is it? I mean, I'm really not going to get the same beer as Coronado if I live in Vegas as opposed to.
We have thought of that as well, and so the brewmasters want you to actually exactly taste their beer. So that means building up the water chemistry as well. So we recommend starting from distilled water or RO water. And inside this pack is not just grains, but also water amendments that builds up the water profile so you get the exact water chemistry that they build.
Good grief. That's good. So, raise your hand if you got one of the samples of the beer. How was it? Great. They like it. Congratulations, it works. Well done.